Good morning, Fungi Myco Warriors. Today we're going to be building a glove box. I've been using a still air box or an unmodified still air box with no holes in it on my counter for ever at this point. So I'm going to build a glove box so that I have a little bit more control. I have less things coming in and out of the box whenever I'm working. So today we're going to use two large hose clamps. These are two 4-inch couplers. These are not pieces of pipe. There's a ridge in the middle of them. It's because it's a coupler, so you can attach two 4-inch pieces of pipe. I have a 4-inch hole saw, just too small for the hole that we need for this. So to get it where we need to be, we're going to use a double saw to cut out a few extra pieces that we can't get with the hole saw. And then we're going to use a heat gun to bend some things. After that, we're going to attach some silicone around here. Normally I use food grade silicone for pretty much everything that I do with mushrooms, but being that this is a glove box and not actually going to come in contact at all with anything, I'm going to use some black RTV for a seal so that I don't use up all of my food grade stuff for stuff that's not going on food grade things. And lastly, also the gloves that we have. These are chemical gloves. They're shoulder high or something like that. They're from Harbor Freight. They do have large fingers in them, so you need to be aware of this if you're going to use something like this, because these fingers don't give you the best grip. I mean, you can clearly see that it's much larger than my thumb, so it's not going to give you the best grip in there, but you just have to use a little bit more pressure than what you're used to normally to hold things, so that you can condense that rubber so that you can get a good grip out of everything. So without any further ado, I guess we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on this. So I hope you enjoy the journey, and we'll be getting it done so that we can do some more cool mushroom science, because science is probably the coolest thing about mushrooms for me. I enjoy the science piece of it. I mean, I enjoy eating the mushrooms too, but the science is really where it's at for me. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these couplers, and you can see I've already got dots kind of on here where I want to put these. These are center pilot hole dots for my hole saw. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here, and then I'm going to trace around it with the Sharpie so that I have an outer line, because like I said, my hole saw is too small for this. So it's going to leave a little bit of a gap in between my line and the inside of the hole that I'll be heating up so that I can push these in. So I'm going to go ahead and get these holes drawn, or the circles drawn for these, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've got my outer edges drawn now. This one slipped a little bit, so there's an inner ring, but it's okay. The outer edge is the one we're looking for right here on both of them. Like I said, once we get this hole drilled with this hole saw here, you'll see that the hole is not quite as big as what I need to get the couplers through. So like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of extra sawing on this with the devil saw, and then we'll heat it up and we'll push those through. All right, so we'll just get this started here. So now that we got the holes drilled in here, they're a little off center from what I wanted, but it's all right. But now that we got the holes drilled in here, what we can do is we can finish up what I was talking about before and cut slits all the way around this with the double saw. That way we can heat it and push our couplers through. But before we do all that, we're going to go ahead and do some cleanup. So I'll be back after that's done. So you can see that this coupler is 4.5 inches diameter. These are 4-inch holes that I was able to drill. So I'm going to need to go out 1/4 inch around the hole, all the way around, several times with the double saw to make sure that this will be able to slide into here. Because currently, doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to slide in there. So let's just go ahead and get at it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this marker, because the tip of the marker is almost 1/4 inch. I'm going to take this marker, I'm going to mark around the outside of the hole. And this will give me my guide that I was looking for that was off center, because I couldn't line up my hole appropriately. Alright, and with that, with these circles drawn, what we can do now is we can get our double saw and we can start cutting notches in these all the way around. I'm going to do this one on camera, or at least some of it, and then I'll likely finish it up off camera and then come back when it's finished for the next step. Here we go. Just in case you're wondering, this devil saw has a glass blade on it, so it will make short work of this plastic for sure. Okay, so I got my 4 starter notches. I'm just going to do in between this notch one, probably 3 times there, maybe a couple more, we'll see. And because my line is wiping off, I'm using my Mark 1 eyeball to make sure that I got this right about where I need it. Now, Mark 1 eyeball is not quite as good as measurements, but they'll do. Alright, and that's about that. I'm going to just continue to do this on the other side of this hole. I'm going to continue on the other hole too, and I'll be back after it's done. Alright, so we're back. We got all of our expansion pieces cut out or all the way around both of these holes. We've cleaned it up, taken our marker off so that it doesn't have big purple marks all over it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our heat gun and we're going to heat these up. And once that they're right at the right point, it's just starting to get like more translucent than what it is currently. What we're going to do is we're going to take our coupler and we're just going to push it through. Now it should effectively bend these tabs back, which will give it support on the back side, and then on the front side of this we'll be putting black RTV. Alright, here we go. Just like that. And now I'm going to put silicone around this whenever it cools, and then we'll be able to attach our gloves. But before I do that, I'm going to do this other hole real quick off camera, and then I'll come back whenever it's time to add our TV. Alright, we're back. We got some mega black RTV. I use this on my truck and cars and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not going to use food safe silicone on something that's never going to come in contact with anything that's going to be done inside this box. So I'm just going to apply some of this now around these holes and then let it dry. Nice and easy. So a lot of people think you need a tip or any of that other kind of stuff, but you can use this tip as your applicator. Okay, so we're just going to take this RTV gasket maker. We're going to roll up the bottom of it. Actually, I'm going to go grab something. I'll be right back. Alright, so I went and I got a tube squeezer. If anybody's ever used one of these, they're generally used for toothpaste rolls or whatever, but I'm going to throw it on the bottom of my RTV tonight, or today, for this video. Hopefully, maybe. If it's not too thick to fit through. There we go. Starting to get it through there. Alright, and this will allow it so that I can push this up nice and easy. So, let's just get this. That first little bit was dried out some, so we're not going to use that. But as you can see, I'm not using my finger or a tip or any of that sort of thing to get this on here. And to fill this gap. Now that I got about half of it covered, I'm going to take my finger, smear it the rest of the way around so that it gets good coverage all the way around. Let's see here. There we go. So that's got good coverage. I'll clean that up a little bit with a wet paper towel. And then it'll look proper. And I'll do the other one off camera. So at this point, we got both of these siliconed. They're pressed in. They're going to be really, really secure. There's not going to be any air around them. And whenever this finishes drying here, about an hour or two maybe, I'll be able to come back and I'll be able to put the gloves in. And what we're going to do with the gloves is we're going to actually stick the gloves through here and attach them on the outside. That way, if you need to change your gloves out for any reason, it's easier to do than if you have to pull your whole box apart to get inside of it and everything like that. So we're going to let this stuff dry, and then we'll be back and we'll finish up the glove box for today. And we're back. It's been about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. I spent about 20 minutes or so, 10 minutes on each side, just heating it up real light with a heat gun. This stuff likes to dry under heat sometimes. If you can, whenever you put your car together, it gets warm, it'll dry this stuff out real nice. So I took that same theory, used a little bit of heat from a heat gun, and I was able to get this to dry enough that I'm confident enough that it'll hold, so we can put the gloves on, and then we can just let it cure for a couple days without touching it afterwards. So let's go ahead and get that started. The first thing we're going to do, we have our ratchet with an 8mm socket on it. This will fit the screw head, bolt head on here nicely, so that we can use this to adjust it quickly instead of using a screwdriver that would take a lot longer. So let's go ahead and start on the left side. The first thing you want to do is put your glove on. That way you can get it into the box good. You want to be able to reach to the back of the box with your knuckles, with these knuckles here. So that's perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it off. Where it's at. Right? We'll take this, stick it over the top of it. Push this little bit down, back. And we're going to take our clamp, we're going to put it over this glove portion. Just loosen this just a tad bit more. That'll allow me to get this on here good and tight. That clamp is on there good and tight. It's not going to come off. So we're good to go on that side. I'm going to put this other right glove on real quickly. Did it in here. Loosen this the rest of the way, so it'll slide over easy. Now if you notice, I'm putting my screws both on the inside of the gloves, or the inside portion of it anyway. Where you do this is completely up to you. You can do it on the bottom, the top, the sides, however you want. And then just like that, we got our glove box. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again.